Welcome back to another episode of Totally True Stories, the podcast where I, your host, Joshua Lade, read stories to you that have been submitted to us from fans around the globe. Okay, today's story is called The White Shag Carpet, and it was submitted from Houston, Texas, so shout out to Houston. Well, I know just as much about this story as you do, so let's get into it. The White Shag Carpet. The average person would think that if someone needed glasses to see, they would wear them, right? Unfortunately, 6-year-old me had quite a contradictory opinion. After spending the day at my uncle's house, however, my eyes were open to the blurry consequences of my actions. This story begins in Dallas, Texas, when I was in town for an upcoming Taekwondo tournament and stayed in my uncle's house rather than a hotel. The place was lovely, with 2 stories and many expansive rooms, but only one was important to me: the upstairs playroom. The playroom was a big, cozy room where all of my little cousin's toys were kept. And all the toys were nice, but the best part was the big white shag area carpet that covered the floor across the whole room. I'd never been a big fan or hater of rugs and carpets, but I don't think I had ever seen a carpet quite like that one before. One so downy and soft that touching it gave the sensation of floating on clouds. I loved that carpet, but one crucial detail about inanimate objects is that they do not love you back. "Come downstairs, Joshua. Time to get ready to the tournament venue," my dad shouted to me from the lower level. I aptly responded with a "yes, sir," and got up from the bed in the room I was staying in. I rushed to get dressed and go downstairs, so I was out of the room and in the hallway in seconds, not even taking the time to put on my glasses and holding them in my hand. I hurriedly shuffled down the hallway to the stairs, but past the playroom on my way. I knew my dad had called me, so I needed to go downstairs immediately. Still, that shag carpet was calling to me in the same way a siren calls to sailors. Before I knew it, I found myself tossing my glasses on the floor, not in the floor. You don't toss your glasses on the floor. On the floor, and rolling all over the carpet with a feeling of pure ecstasy. I was in a world of my own. "Joshua!" I snapped out of my trance as I heard my dad calling me again, this time with anger. I jumped up and reached for my glasses, but my hands only felt that accursed shag area carpet. Frantically, I stood up and began to search for my glasses the best I could with my lousy eyesight, but it seemed that they had somehow been lost in the long, thick fibers of the carpet. I stumbled back and forth around the room, desperately trying to locate my glasses. However, when I thought all hope was lost, I inched forward a few more steps and crack. My heart dropped into my stomach as I slowly peered down with dismay at whatever had just broken under my foot. I picked up the mystery object. Lo and behold, it was my glasses. Well, in 2 pieces, that is. I flew down the stairs to tell my dad of the horrible misfortune that befell me, tears in my eyes. Surprisingly, after seeing my tears and apologies, my dad wasn't angry and calmly reminded me that I had a pair of prescription sports goggles that I could use instead. That morning was quite the emotional roller coaster filled with ups and downs. Still, I learned many lessons from it, and ever since then, I have always remembered to 1. Wear my glasses, 2. Watch my step if I drop them on the ground, and 3. Listen to my parents and do what they tell me when they ask me to do it. For if I had, this whole disaster could have been avoided. I definitely don't care for shag carpets anymore either. Okay, so that's the end of the story. My view on it, it's a pretty fun story about this kid who lost his glasses and eventually ended up breaking them, which is kind of sad, but he had some prescription sports goggles that were backups for the glasses, so it ended up all right in the end. I'd rate that story a solid 4 out of 5. Okay, see you next time. That was a great story. If you want to see your stories featured on our podcast, go to www.totallytruestories.com and fill out the form on the website submitting your story at the end of it. We look forward to reading about your experiences. Joshua out.